Yes.
All right, so let's go ahead and pivot on over and talk a little bit more about your Utah Jazz.
Let's do it.
So where are you at when it comes to the whole conspiracy theory, that the thing was rigged? Basically, everybody, even not Jazz fans, but everybody out there was saying how that it was rigged. What are your thoughts on this?
I try not to lean into conspiracy theories and it being rigged and all of this. But where my feeling is there is a purpose of a draft in professional sports. And the purpose of this is to help struggling teams become competitive and build through the draft. The whole intent of the draft is a balancing mechanism, right? So the worst teams get the best incoming players. And when you look at what happened during the draft this year, you had a team that made the play-in tournament get the best incoming player. That is completely wrong.
Yeah. Yeah, they shouldn't even have been eligible. I think if you made the playoffs, you made the play-in tournament, you shouldn't have been eligible for the draft lottery. But here's my thing on that, man. The reason why the draft lottery exists the way it was, and the way it was set up the way it was, is to prevent people from bottoming out and tanking every year.
Yeah.
And in this case, it absolutely worked. Since 2019, the team with the best odds to get the number one overall picked hasn't gotten it.
Yeah.
It hasn't happened. And you have to go back several more years. You can see examples of how Cleveland, with less than 5% of the chance, got the number one overall pick 2 years in a row, conveniently aligning around some stuff with LeBron James. So it's like, is it possible for them to rig the draft lottery? Absolutely.
100%.
There's a lot of people there where they talk about, where they talk to the people that was in the room, not the room that we actually got to see, because that's not where the draft lottery happens. It actually happens in a back room where the ping pong balls are going. Team representatives are in there, but they're sequestered in that room until after the TV show airs. So that way but everybody in that room knows what happened a half hour before we get to see it, right? Justin Zanuck was there, and there was a couple of reporters there one from Deseret News. And what they were saying there is that it would be very hard to fake that. And I would say it'd be very easy to fake that. All you have to do is make sure that the balls that you don't want to go up first are weighted.
Mm-hmm.
You can weight the balls at different weights. You can have saline solution injected into those balls, so only the lighter ones come up. So you can easily fake that. So the fact that they're saying that it's really hard to fake, no, it's really easy to fake. And so I'm just not necessarily. I'm not on this train. I don't think it necessarily happened. I think the Jazz's most likely option, which was to get the number 5 pick, which they had a 41% chance of happening, is what happened. We only had a 14% chance of getting the number 1 overall pick, a 20% chance of getting the number 2, and I think like a 25% chance of getting the number 3. And yeah, we slid to the stuff we had the highest odds on, which was getting the number 5 overall pick. I'm not surprised, man. This is just how this works. This team has never moved up in the draft, and is either A, held fast, or B, dropped. And that's just kind of how it works. I don't know if there's anything more to it than that, but to me, that's kind of where I'm sitting on this. Am I disappointed? Absolutely. Was I expecting anything more? No. Was I hoping for it? Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, I guess I'm upset because the draft is it's no longer fulfilling its core purpose to make teams that are struggling or trade away talent. You're not spreading the wealth among the NBA. You're top loading it into teams. And that's the problem. This is what it appears at this point.
Yeah. Is the Mavericks really a top tier team? Like,
they're not one of the worst teams in the league, though.
No, they're mid-market.
Even for them to be a mid-market team, why are we infusing talent into a mid-market? And I can tell you why. It's because Dallas is one of the largest markets in the NBA. It's top 10.
Mm-hmm. It's true. Honestly, man, I'm going to pivot away from the doom and gloom of the draft.
Absolutely.
Before we do that, let's go ahead and jump into a comment or two here, because I have a feeling that Greg Hawkins has got something to say about it.
Yes.
Say we got the Jazz announced the number 5. I start laughing manically because that's how it goes for us. Tanking is straight up gambling. 14% is terrible odds. You never take that in a casino.
Great
Absolutely.
Point.
Very, very good point.
Yeah.
I'd be really interested if they actually posted the odds on the games there in a casino.
Yeah.
Everybody would be playing Keno if that was the case. Our ceiling is low. It took us 2 Hall of Famers giving us 20 years of their career to make it to the finals twice. At least Rudy and Don years were entertaining. Absolutely, man. I'm gonna have to agree with you 100% on that one, man. And it took running into the greatest player of all time to keep the Jazz from winning a title.
Yeah.
And honestly, I think, and I'll get into it here in a minute, but the right way for this franchise to be built for sure. I get into Jazz. I get into the Jazz when we have playoff teams. They can consistently do that without the draft gambling. Yeah. So this is kind of how I'm sitting on this, man. Like, okay, great. Now what? Explain to me, front office, Justin Zanuck, Danny Ainge, SCG Group. Okay, your big plan blew up in your face. Now what? You were hoping on a 14% chance that some, franchise changing talent was going to fall into your lap, and you gambled with it. You haven't done the last 3 years correctly. You said it was a tear down that took 3 years, and this is the first 3 year of the rebuild. If you're listening on the podcast, there's some air quotes in there. What is your plan now? That's what I want to know. I want to have a press conference with the front brass and ask them, what exactly is your plan now that you didn't land that? And don't give me that crap that you've been talking about in the press that you're just going to, we're going to work really hard to trade up in the draft. No one's going to trade with you. You don't have the assets to trade up in this draft. The Spurs aren't going to get up number 2 because they're going to use that in draft assets for different players, which we'll get into here in a minute.
Yeah.
But no one's going to trade up. The highest possible you have a chance to is getting up to number 3. And is the number 3 pick really going to be game changing for this team? I have to say no.
No, it's not. I mean, if it helps a little bit more because, there is three to four really good players in this draft. There's only one generational talent in this draft, but there's players that can help immediately in the first 3 to 4 picks.
Yes.
However, we don't have one of those 3 or 4 picks.
No, we don't. I want to kind of jump into that because honestly, man, I'm more confident now. Let's get into the positive. I'm more confident now, whoever we get at number 5, that the development we're going to see with that player more than 4 out of the 6 of our recent draft picks we have on this team. I would say outside of Isaiah and Flip, I'm feeling very underwhelmed. Now, Hendricks gets a pass because he got hurt.
Mm-hmm.
But with the exception of that, I'm very underwhelmed with what we've been doing as far as developing young talent that we've had with this team so far. I am more confident with who I'm seeing the Jazz are getting at number 5, which we'll get into in a second, more than players that played for this team last year. And that includes KG3, who has 2 years of development now.
Yeah.
Like, to me, I'm like, come on, man. You've been here 2 years. We still don't know if you're a point guard or a shooting guard. We don't know if you're going to be a starter. We don't know if you're going to run on the bench. I'm actually more high on Keontae's tangibles than I am on Isaiah's, but Isaiah's done more proof on the court than KG3 has. So it's very, very confusing. And that's why I'm choosing on that positive note to hang my hat, is that we're at least going to get a player in this draft that we're going to actually be able to see some development out of a lot faster.
I mean, you would hope so. I mean, we had really high hopes for Cody Williams, when the Jazz drafted him.
It's been the biggest disappointment, man, of the year.
And I still think that there's a ton of upside to Cody Williams. I think he's got a lot of work to do. I think a full NBA offseason will help him get bigger and stronger and understand the game a little bit better. He does a lot of the stuff right that you want in a top 10 draft pick. But at number 5, with the path that the Jazz are on, you can't miss at number 5.
Not right now. You can't. No, not this year.
You were all in on number 1, and then you're good with 2, 3, or 4. But at 5, you've got to get the best player available at 5, regardless of his position.
Okay, interesting. So with that said, who are you going after?
I have to change my notes, so you're gonna have to give me a second on that.
Okay, I'll go through what I've went through a couple of mock drafts here, and I wanted to kind of talk about what I've saw. So CBS has this actually. I'm going to use them last. No, we're going to just go for it. CBS actually has us picking Ace Bailey as a small forward at 5.
Why do they think Ace Bailey falls? Who goes ahead of him?
Obviously Cooper Flagg, Dylan Harper, Trey Johnson,
VJ Edgecombe. Okay,
yeah. So they have us picking up Ace Bailey as a small forward. They're saying that most of his game is mid-range. He's shooting most of his points there, but he did average 17.6 points, 7 rebounds, and shot 38% from 3. And most importantly, he is 6'6". So I'm okay with that.
6'10" Ace Bailey 6'10".
Okay. You gotta be careful when you read these, because you're gonna have the pre-draft measurements and then the measurements they are in shoes, which I don't know which way I want to go, man. It's not like they're playing basketball flat-footed. They're gonna be wearing shoes.
100%.
So
Everybody's wearing shoes.
So I don't know why are they measuring them outside of shoes?
Yeah.
But anyway, so when it comes to that, man, I don't know. CBS has us taking him up. They think he slips down. ESPN has us taking Jeremiah Fears, which is the 6'4" point guard out of Oklahoma. He averaged 17 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists. What I don't really like about this guy is shooting like 28% from three, and he's undersized. Out of shoes, he's 6'2", which is, not what we want to have. That's your Donovan Mitchell size. That's your undersized guard, right?
Yeah.
Those rebounding, those assist numbers don't wow me for a pure point guard, but honestly, man, we're already seeing better development out of Isaiah Collier. I'm not sure how much I love that pick. But then again, they're not doing anything really. Isaiah Collier has his problems too, so I'm perfectly okay with him losing his spot to somebody like Jeremiah. If coming out of this draft, he's better, but it sucks because Isaiah was one of the players out of the last draft that actually showed some promise. So that's one of the things I didn't think was great. The Athletic had is taking Trey Johnson, which I would love to take in Utah. He is 6'6", and he is a combo guard, shooting or point guard, average 20 points per game. That was one of the players that I saw that
and shot almost 40% from three.
Yes, which was really great. But yeah, so those are the three that those three publications have us taking. Who do you have? Do you have?
Yeah, I mean, I actually like the Trey Johnson pick.
Mm-hmm.
I like that more than Ace Bailey. I mean, I think they take Ace Bailey if he's available. I think, but I don't know. I think I would have to probably dig in a little bit deeper into what like what the Hornets need. I mean, we're talking the Sixers got the number 3 pick, dude.
Yeah.
The Sixers.
JK Philly, we got to jump back on with those guys, man. Have another.
Yeah, because I want to talk to them. Like, what the hell?
By the way, if you haven't checked out the channel, we did a collab with them, and I posted the video on the channel there, so you have it when they reach out to us there. All right, well, let me tell you who I would not be surprised if the Jazz actually decide to go with a different option at number 5. You're talking about going after a player that you're not going to miss on.
Yeah.
What if the Jazz decide to go for another white boy from Duke?
Con.
Yeah, Con.
Newpel? It's got to be Newpel.
Knipple.
I'm guessing.
I've heard Knipple.
I'm guessing the first case silent.
Okay.
I don't know.
I've actually heard the K pronounced, but I could be wrong. Anyway, so this guy is 6'7", 217 pounds from Duke, small forward or shooting guard, by the way. 6'7" guard. You know how I feel about guards?
Yeah, got to be tall.
Mm-hmm. Right? And he is the only 90, 50, 40 player in this draft.
Yeah.
So he's shooting 90% from three, 50% from the field, and 40% from three.
90% from the free throw line. You said 90% from three the first time.
Sorry, 90%.
That would be impressive. I want 90% from three.
So 9% from the free throw line, 50% from the field, 40% from three. He would be great length and size, which is what this team's really going to be known for. You got Larry Markin and Walker Kessler, both big guys, and then you also got Hendricks, who's coming back, and then Flip, who's also lengthy, for his size anyway. So I just think he'd be a good fit for that. If the Jazz actually decided to, let's trade this draft, drop down a little bit. Let's trade this pick, drop down a little bit, and get us to go with Con. I'm actually okay with it.
And did you see that he shot 63.6% from three during the tournament?
No, I did not see that.
63% from three during the tournament.
Which is when the game matters, man. Like, yeah, no problems there. And do I want to see Walker Kessler taking 8 threes a game and then having to run laps if he doesn't shoot at least 5? Absolutely not. If we want some size and somebody who can really stretch the floor, Con's a good fit, man. All over the place, man. Every time I look at which player best fits the Jazz, obviously Cooper Flagg would have been it. But outside of that, man, if you're going for like a Cooper Flagg light, I think Con might be the pick, man.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah,
those are my thoughts, man. We want to hear from you folks. Let us know what your thoughts are in the comments down below. What do you think the Utah Jazz do with the number 5 overall pick? Do you think they try to trade up? I don't really know if there's anybody who'd be willing to, or do you think that they're going to pick somebody based off of what we said here? Are there any picks that really jump out to you? We want to hear from you in the comments down below. Let us know for sure.
Absolutely.
All right, let's hit some of these comments here. We've got Car Wash channel. heard the Jazz might trade up to get number one pick from Dallas. Yeah, I've heard that. That's coming from the Jazz. They're thinking they're going to do that, but there's no way in hell they're doing that.
Yeah, nobody's moving the number one pick.
Yeah, Nico already came out and said that they are keeping their pick and they are drafting him. So they're not even considering offers right now, which would be cool if they did. You guys going to trade up? There's going to be a trade to get Q pick. I don't know what
next one maybe.
Yeah,
the Jazz. One pick.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen, man. I would like for it to happen, but I seriously doubt that it would. I'd love to see us trade up to get the top pick, but we'd have to sell the farm. And honestly, we can't sell the farm, man. We are not even the best option. There are 5 teams out there that have better young prospects. Dallas needs win now players, and we just don't have them.
Laurie.
Yeah, but that's the contract that's just not workable. What are you going to move with that contract? If we didn't lock him up for a max max level deal, then yeah, maybe. But we have to take 80's contract back with that. I don't know. It just doesn't work. There's just too many other teams that have a better option. So we also have here when you guys get a chance, change the banner to say Utah Mammoth. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we'll have to worry about that because we got to worry about changing the channel name too. We got to figure that out if we're going to do that or not.
Yeah.
The Jazz got 14 first round picks that they can trade and use.
They do have a ton of assets. Absolutely right.
I believe they've actually used a lot of those. I think they only have 8 left, future first round picks. But there might be some other ones that are outside the first round, like you said here. So, but anyway, so we also have another comment here from Greg Hawkins. Isn't there some deal with OKC next year if we get yes? So if our draft pick falls below 8 or below, it goes to OKC. So if we got Cooper Flag this year, then we would have been okay with giving up our top pick, but it fell below to giving to OKC.
Right.
But because of that, obviously we didn't get him. We don't want to win games this season because this is also a stacked draft with the Boozer twins and AJ DeBensa and some other players that are coming up that we don't necessarily want to do that.
I think we need to finish middle of the pack. That way we have the highest chance at getting
Yeah, as long as our odds are below 2%, we're almost guaranteed to get the number one spot.
We're freaking in. Yeah.
You also have here, I think so, but I don't know Greg Hawkins. Yeah, I know him. He's a cool dude. I'm just kidding. Anyway, so yeah, the draft was rigged. So yeah, man, there's just too many. If you told me that the draft was rigged, if you were to come out and prove it, I'd be like, okay. But I can also be just as come on, guys. Like our greatest odds happened. What we could get, best odds played out. We're pissed because we spent all year trying to get the worst pick, and when it came out that we only had 40% odds versus 40 something odds that we're going to get the the 5th pick, we get mad when our greatest odd chances are what plays out.
Right.
I can hear it both ways, but if honestly, there's way too much coincidence. If you go in the history of the draft, going all the way back to LeBron James being drafted by the hometown, and then Derrick Rose being drafted by the hometown, and then the Cavs get the number 1 pick mysteriously when LeBron James is coming back to Cleveland, and then, oh, by the way, Chris Paul, you can't be traded to the Lakers, you're being traded to the Clippers. Sorry to you, New Orleans, you're losing your franchise point guard, but hey, we'll make sure you get the number 1 pick in the draft and Anthony Davis. Sorry, Anthony Davis, we're pulling you from New Orleans. You're going to be going to LA. Since we're pulling you to put you in a bigger market, we'll give you the number 1 overall pick in Zion Williamson. There's just way too many of these things that happened that if you were to show me any proof that the draft was rigged, to be like, okay, yeah, because there's just way too many coincidences, in my opinion.
Yeah, and too many coincidences are not coincidences.
Yeah, exactly. Good point. But we want to go ahead and jump into the next subject there when we talk about the Utah Jazz. Is going to be, something that isn't getting talked a lot for us when it comes to this, but there is a lot of talk about this. Giannis Antetokounmpo did make it known with his team, with the Milwaukee Bucks, that he would be open and willing to be traded this year, this offseason, in a rebuild. Basically, that Milwaukee's going to be entering in a rebuild, so they may be. And he said that he's willing to be traded. There's a lot of teams being discussed about this. One of them that was mentioned in an interview in a
couple articles,
but isn't necessarily talked about a lot is Utah.
Yeah.
Have you heard about this?
Yeah, absolutely. I think this is something that the Jazz absolutely got to make a phone call on, especially when we just missed on the draft, right? Cooper Flag was our light that could, we could start seeing the light at the end of the tunnel with Cooper Flag. Giannis is that same way. I don't know if the Jazz have a shot. If there is somebody that can make a deal, the Jazz have the assets. They do. They've got a ton of pieces they can move. They've got some impressive young players, especially after last season. We got to see a lot of those young players kind of shine, kind of show that they could maybe be potentially more on a team with more talent around them. And I think this is something the Jazz have to make a phone call. See, the thing that I love about Giannis is he's not a big market guy. He's played in Milwaukee his whole career.
Yeah. Be willing to stay there if the team is competing.
Yeah. And he's not interested. I think the biggest issue is going to be if he doesn't want to play for a team that's rebuilding, he's not going to choose the Jazz, right? Because the Jazz are rebuilding. And I don't know if Giannis takes us to the level where we're even a fringe playoff team. What do you think?
Well, I do think the Jazz are obviously going to make the phone call. They have to, right? I think they're going to give him a say in it, but ultimately it's not his decision.
Right. Absolutely.
They can trade him wherever they want. They're going to trade him to the team that offered him the best package. Just ask Damian Lillard.
Yeah.
So while the Jazz could offer a great package, like I mentioned, we have up to 8 first-round draft picks we can trade in regards to this. I think the other 5 are pick swaps. I can't remember exactly. Car Wash, let me know if I'm all wrong on that one. But yeah, you definitely make the phone call. You definitely make the offer. The only problem is this draft actually not only did it give us hope on this, it also kind of screwed us because the team that actually has the best option, the best package to offer him is going to be the San Antonio Spurs.
Right.
They got Victor Wembanyama. They've got a team of talent. They got that Castle kid. They also have what's his name from Sacramento.
De'Aaron Fox.
Yeah, they have Fox on the team.
Yeah.
So, and they also have the number 2 pick now. So the San Antonio Spurs had the number 2 pick. They could trade that along with a package of young win now talent and another plethora of picks that they can offer. They're also first rounders for Giannis. So they have a better option. They have a better offer than we do, as well as OKC. I don't see them doing that because they're in the playoffs right now. They're about to go into the Western Conference Finals, right?
Yeah.
They're a team that looks good. I don't know if they want to mess up that chemistry by bringing in somebody like
I don't think so.
Giannis.
I think OKC stands pat, dude. They're very happy with the team that they've built.
But they have more assets than we do, not only in trade picks, but also in young talent. So they would also, if they wanted to go out and get Giannis, they could do it, and they'd be in a better position than we are.
Yeah.
The other option is going to be the Houston Rockets. Now, again, same issue there. They're doing well. They made it to the playoffs with their young core. Do they necessarily want to throw in a wrench and completely change the makeup of that team by adding Giannis? Actually, honestly, I think they would. But for me, it's going to be more likely to be the best option for Milwaukee to trade Giannis it's going to be San Antonio.
Yeah.
But so I don't think the Jazz really have a shot at it. Do I think they should try? Absolutely. But I don't think that they are going to have the best offer.
We just got to trust in Danny Ainge, right? There was only a little bit of sarcasm there.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Like I'd love to hear it, man. If you guys got a comments down below, let me know where my faith is need to be with Danny Ainge. I think he completely misses the understanding of how to build a team in Utah,
this market. Yeah,
versus building one in Boston. That trade basically fell in his lap where he was able to get all those picks, and everything, and get all those players. So it's a little different. Yeah. So let's go ahead and jump into a few of these comments here.
Oh, you got to go way up. Car Wash channel right there.
Car Wash channel. All I want is the Jazz to make the playoffs. Hey, that's a good start.
I'm in, dude. I'm all in.
Good starting point. I'll go into my strategy here next week on what I think the Jazz need to do. I got a good one for you.
Perfect.
We got another comment here from Love Runsworth. I can't see from this far behind, but if you guys, if you could trade Laurie and 5 for Zion or Melo, would you do it? I'm not going anywhere near Zion Williamson.
No. I mean, LaMelo, yes. If you could trade Zion, if you could trade Laurie in the 5 for LaMelo, I vote yes.
Yeah, I'm good for that. I'll go get LaMelo in here. We'd have the best floor general in the NBA, if you ask me.
That kid is such a stud, dude.
Yeah, so I would definitely do that.
And he's fun to watch, and he's actually, for being a ball kid, he's actually pretty humble. I like LaMelo a lot. If that's an option, Yeah, I vote yes.
I don't know if they would make that trade though, because I don't know if they
No,
really
the
have-
Hornets aren't going anywhere near that.
Yeah, I don't think they have any interest in Larry Marketing. But we have Carlos Channel, the championship, just no championships, just the playoffs. I prefer championships, but playoffs is more likely. Hey man, we gotta crawl before you run, right? It's the natural result of randomness. Yeah, exactly. And it hurts when a team like us, a fan base like us, suffers through a whole year like that. And we actually had to watch all the bad games. We had to cover this team. So
yeah, it was
what made it worse.
super fun.
Did you hear the news about Giannis Antetokounmpo is up for?
That must have been right before we started talking about it.
Yeah, you must have been right there on the same trade as we are. Same thought process as us. The Jazz can trade to get him. Yeah, we did kind of cover that a little bit. Statistics
just aren't intuitive. You have to force yourself to understand them against your normal instincts. If I model the exact draft 10,000 times, Dallas gets number 180 times. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, gotta love the odds, man, for sure. Let's see here. The results alone are insufficient evidence of rigging. It will happen about 1 in 60 times over the sufficiency large number of drafts and possibly more of a smaller number of drafts. Yeah, we're just never in this position. Ask the Detroit Pistons how often they were the worst record in baseball and how many times they fell to number 5 pick. It happened to them, I think, three out of 4 times.
Yeah, I mean, I bet you the Pistons are always the worst team in baseball. It'd probably be terrible for a long time, honestly. Like, I don't think any of the Pistons players could hit the ball worth of shit, Aaron.
Just can't even let me get anywhere on that one. Doesn't give me a glimpse. Let's see. Giannis might make us get us a championship. That's why we need him.
It depends on what we got to give up.
Yeah,
I think that's the big thing. Is if you can keep Laurie and some of these guys together, I think Giannis could help this team at least be a fringe playoff team that has enough talent to make some noise. But are you going to give up all of your depth with Giannis, and is that worth it?
Yeah, I don't know if we can. The question is to ask Ryan Smith and Danny Ainge and Justin Zack. We also have another comment here from KG10B.
10 to the THS.
10 to the THS.
Utah already is Zion. They don't have to. Great point. Thanks for the comment.
Yes, folks. Once again, folks, we want to hear from you. Let us know what your thoughts are in the comments down below. We did just start a channel for you, Utah Jazz, called the Utah Jazz DNA. Link to this channel will be in the description down below. If you're watching this on our main channel, DNA Sports Recap, be sure to check us out. Drop us a comment. Check out our merch store. We have a Hot Rod Hunley shirt up on this store. And if you're enjoying this content, subscribe to Utah Jazz DNA. We'd love to give away a jersey once this channel hits 1,000 subscribers. So,
one more comment, I think.